It'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do. But the Knicks are at a point now where they don't have to blow it up. They may still do so, and they have a right to do so, but with trading the 4 first-round picks and the pick swap for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks don't have a lot of room in regards to actual picks to throw at people.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent the message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face, and after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday Night Monday. Oh, the Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The pistol players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. The Twisted Tuesday has begun. The countdown to the NBA Finals resumes. So we'll break down a critical Game 3 in Indianapolis. Pacers getting 5.5 points in this basketball game. Stanley Cup, the Edmonton Oilers have a couple of days to think about what they did and what they did wrong, right? And it sounds cliche to say, but I think you're better off actually getting pummeled and blown out in a playoff series because, you can just sort of, you'll practice with that little extra edge. You'll prepare with that little extra edge coming off a humiliating experience like the Edmonton Oilers did last night. Speaking of embarrassing performances, Team USA soccer played Switzerland tonight in Nashville. 4-0 Switzerland, the Swiss roll. And, with the Gold Cup coming up right now and some of their best players aren't playing, Pulisic's not playing, former players are ripping them. And normally I disagree with everything that Alexi Lawless says, but I agree with everything that he is saying. I don't understand, the U.S. team. They're going backwards and their players aren't really playing. There's no commitment, no passion to the program. They're hosting the World Cup next year. And, right now, this is a debacle. 4-0. 4-0 to the Swiss. Canada getting all they can handle right now against the Ivory Coast. It's a 0-0. It was kind of a flat performance by Canada in the first half. The Ivory Coast had possession 59 to 41% of the time. And Canada is kind of a possession team. They like to play in transition, but they're having a hard time getting the ball. From Ivory Coast. Second half, Canada is much better. They've had a couple of chances in the first couple of minutes. We should note this isn't Canada's A team in the sense that they just played on Saturday and they beat the Ukraine 4-2. They're competing for spots. Canada is different than the U.S. soccer program. There's a lot of enthusiasm around the program. Everybody wants in. Jonathan David, a big-time player in Europe, doesn't even have a contract right now, and he's playing. Right, he's not playing tonight, though, because he played on Saturday. So Jesse March wanted to see some different players tonight, and we got a 0-0 draw. We're on Canada plus 110. We posted it on X before the game. I took we gave you the under 2.5. I thought it'd be a low-scoring game. The Ivory Coast are really good defensively, but Ivory Coast have had a hard time scoring. They're really skilled, though. I'm surprised they don't score more. And they're pressuring Canada right now as we speak once again. I also took under 1.5 in-game at the half just a couple of minutes ago, but full disclosure, that was minus 225. So it's pretty pricey, but so we're on under 2.5, under 1.5, and I got Canada at plus 110. You know, we're hoping for a late Canadian goal. At this rate, it looks like it could be 0-0 at the pace that it's going right now. Major League Baseball. We got some big-time series going on, and it's probably a good thing, isn't it, that they're playing in San Diego instead of Los Angeles right now, considering Los Angeles, there's a riot going on. That's never happened there before. So we got a scoreless baseball game in San Diego right now, L.A. and San Diego. I got the Dodgers. I don't know, I'm watching a soccer here, Dodgers game starting. There was a runner on. I got the Dodgers at plus 160 because San Diego had a runner on. It's like, all right, I'll jump in on that. I wanted to click plus 150 with the Seattle Mariners as well. It's still scoreless right now, right? And I don't really get why Arizona are these big favorites. I did take under 9.5 already in this game. So right before these games started, I waited. I like, I like to see the odds change in game. You get a better number. Like I said, I got the Dodgers at plus 160 right now. I got under 9.5 in the Mariner Diamondback game. And I missed out on the Mariners plus 150, but they're still plus 125 right now. Let's jump in on the Mariners as well. So we got the under and plus 135. I said, so one thing with baseball, guys, with baseball in-game betting, it literally changes 5 cents a pitch, right? And we should track like what happens when there's a hit. That's probably like 15 cents. But I'm dead serious. Like what, right now, if you're looking at a live book and looking at us, of course, on the SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159, but you'll notice like, all right, there's a ball, like Seattle or plus 135 right now. If there's a ball, it'll go up to plus 140. Strike plus 130. You know what I mean? Like it literally moves like 5 cents a pitch. But you get a runner on, you get 2 runners on, and suddenly it moves like 50, 60 cents. And you're sort of just betting that inning. Like I said, I got the Dodgers at plus 160. Are the Dodgers a lock to win tonight? No. But it's not a bad bet getting the Dodgers at plus 160 because, San Diego had a couple of guys on base. Dodgers get out of it. Right now, the Dodgers are suddenly plus 110 right now. Athletics and Angels, they're scoreless. They played 2 innings right now. Total is 7.5 in Los Angeles. And how about that catch last night by Clark jumping up on top of the wall? That was some sick-ass stuff, Bo Jackson style. That was literally one of the best catches in Major League Baseball history. If you haven't seen it, I reposted it. But who is it, Denzel Clark? The kid went up. The dude went up. Like he scaled the wall. And when you see it in slow motion, he almost had time to, like, sit on the wall. Like he got up on the wall, sort of positioned himself, went over the wall, flipped back. Like, it was awesome. It really was legit one of the best catches you're going to see. I love seeing great baseball catches like that. Here comes the Ivory Coast on a big tear. I'm not a soccer referee, but I don't think you're allowed to tackle somebody, bro, like that. Buddy on Canada. It's the thing with the Ivory Coast. They're freaking fast, man. Like Canada having a hard time with their speed. Canada are known as a fast team. And the Ivory Coast, these dudes, when they start running, bro, it's not easy to catch them. So this dude, it would have been like a 2-on-1. Dude on Ivory Coast just took off like out of a cannon. And Buddy on Canada, basically like a defensive back, like just sort of grabbed his jersey and like pulled him down from behind. It's like, yeah, bro, I don't think you're allowed to do that. You're lucky you didn't get a red card, actually. Like he didn't try to kill him, at least. He just sort of tried to like stop him and bring him down, which he did. He got a yellow card for it. Now they got a free kick. We're going into the 60th minute. Yankees pummeling the Royals right now. San Francisco Giants gunning for their 6th straight victory. They're in Colorado. Here's another nice in-game betting situation. Listen, we're getting San Francisco right now. They've won 5 in a row. You're getting them at minus 130 against the Rockies. Rockies are plus 100 right now in a 2-2 game, middle of the 5th inning. So we're going to the bottom of the 5th right now. White Sox beating the Stros 4-1 right now. This Blue Jay team, man, this Blue Jay team, they're tearing the cover off the baseball right now. And we'll go over some of the numbers. Cam Stewart's going to be in the house with us, and Cam watches every Blue Jay game. I watch most of them, actually, but the last couple of, like, ironically enough, during this streak, I didn't. I was out over the weekend and this and that, and I'm watching a soccer game right now, and I got bigger money on the soccer game, but I do got the Blue Jays season win total to the over, so I'm enjoying this win streak that they're on. And speaking of which, they just put another 2 runs on the board. It was 8-6, now it's 10-6. Blue Jays rolling, putting another 2 spot in the ninth, a little bit of a cushion and insurance right now, but the Blue Jays offense over, like, the last 2 weeks has been, like, the best offense in baseball. Like, runners in scoring position, killing it, strikeout rate. They're only striking out like 16% of the time. They're very patient at the plate suddenly. This Blue Jay team flying under the radar, but really, really starting to put it together right now. Every time the Blue Jays go on, like, one of these streaks, there's always, like, it doesn't last long, right? Like, this is a nice run that they're going on here right now. And against good teams, too, which is pretty impressive. The Twisted Tuesday. Let's roll.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky.
The Twisted Tuesday. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The pistol players, the hustlers, the people to bust them. Everybody else in between SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. We got a full house tonight. Andrew McKinnis will join us in a couple of moments. Joe Ranieri will join us. Been a while since Joe Ranieri's been on SportsRage, actually. Like, been years. Me and Joe Ranieri do a morning show together, actually. In New York. He was in Florida. but it was a lot of fun, and we used to bust each other's balls quite a bit. And he was on the Pharrell show the other day when I came on, and he was really talking a lot of smack about the Florida Panthers. So we'll bring him on right now, I figure, when it's only 2-1, so we don't really have to hear him gloat if the series 4-1.
Exactly.
I'm a man of my word. I said I'll bring you on during the series, but Joe was chirping last night after the game. Hey, are we going to do that hit? So I called his bluff. I said, yeah, all right, well, let's do it we'll do it on Tuesday night. So Joe Ranieri on the radar, and we'll get Joe's thoughts on the U.S. Open as well as Joe. Good golfer, likes to bet on golf. Cam's ready for the U.S. Open. But I was talking about the Toronto Blue Jays offense, guys, and they put another 10 runs up. So this is coming into tonight's game. Since May 8th, this is where the Toronto Blue Jays rank their record, 20-10. They'll be 21-10 after tonight. That's the best record since May 8th in baseball, number one. Extra base hits. Came into tonight with 100 extra base hits. That's first in baseball since May 8th. Strikeout percentage, like offensively when they're at the plate. They're only striking out 16.2% of the time. That's the lowest strikeout rate in Major League Baseball. Base on balls percentage offensively, second in baseball. This is what the really impressive one is. Average with runners in scoring position. Toronto Blue Jays hitting .313 since May 8th coming into tonight. And as I stated, all these numbers will be even prettier when you consider they just scored another 10 runs tonight. This team is on a roll right now, Cam. And like I said, against pretty good teams, too. Like, they got it going against Oakland, and they scored a bunch of runs, and they had a 5-game win streak going. But it was like, all right, got the Philadelphia Phillies coming to town now. Mm-hmm. And they them up in the first game that they played in Toronto. And it was like, oh, yeah, here we go. All right, they're playing a good team right now for the National League, and they got beat 8-1 or whatever it was. They got crushed. No, they bounced back. They won the next 2 games. They go into Minnesota. They win the series. Now they're rolling into St. Louis. This is very impressive. And the Blue Jays guys generally, one thing people don't realize about the Jays, they're actually a very good home team this year. They don't hit home runs and stuff, but they actually win at home. They have one of the better home records in baseball. So if they can start winning on the road like this, Cam, then they really will play themselves into competing for the division if they can win on the road, because we know they can win at home.
Gabe, and the crazy thing is they're getting it from different guys in the lineup. Have you not seen the numbers Alejandro Kirk is putting up right now? It's legendary. Like, these guys are talking, like MLB Network's talking about it. This guy in the American League is the highest, like, of balls hit hard. They have a stat, like, you know what I mean? When, like, good contact, he's number 1 in the American League. Again tonight on an 0-2 count, he find a way to get in a run, another home run. This guy is absolutely fantastic, and it's like he's having an all-star campaign, and these other young guys are doing it. It's not just Guerrero and the other guys, Gabe. We talked about Barger and the young kids. Like, this is fantastic stuff for the Blue Jays right now, and you know what I mean? They're just, I don't know what's up with this guy, but he is feeling it right now, Morency. His numbers are incredible.
The Blue Jays' problem over the years as well, they've had good players over the years. They spend a lot of money. They have like the 5th highest payroll in baseball right now. 4th highest payroll, 4th, 5th, whatever. I think it's 4th actually. Mm-hmm. But they spend money. They've always had chemistry problems. Like the Blue Jays, it's either it's too serious, it's too loose, it's too fractured. They're never on the same page, everybody. This team just sort of seems to be coming together with the right mix, like Cam said, of these young guys. The pitchers are pitching well. You can count on them. Like, everybody's just sort of doing their job. It's almost like Dodger-like. All right, we're going to call this young kid up, and the young kid up starts to produce, right? And, you know, they're getting contributions from everybody. It's like, you know, that's another thing, too. It's not just 1 or 2 people getting it done, so it builds big chemistry. Everybody feels part of it. So, yeah, they're a fun team. Right now, and hopefully they can keep this run going. Still scoreless right now in Toronto with Canada and the Ivory Coast going into the 70th minute. Right now, USA were embarrassed by Switzerland in Nashville tonight. The Swiss beat them 4-0. Major League Baseball, 16-4 right now for the Rangers over the Twins. 10-2 Yankees over the Royals. 10-6 Jays going into the bottom of the 9th inning right now. Actually, St. Louis have a couple of runners on. And as we talk about the late game, still scoreless in San Diego and Los Angeles, Seattle, and Arizona still scoreless. Let's bring Andrew McKinnis in right now. Good to see you, McKinnis. How you doing tonight?
Good to see you guys. Doing very well. A little bit disappointed with the break again between games for the NHL. Maybe the Oilers can take advantage of that rest. Who knows? But doing pretty good. How are you guys doing?
What I don't understand is, well, I know why. I understand why. It's because they can't be on the same night as the NBA. So they have to bounce around the NBA. But it's strange that they get the longer layoffs when they're already in the cities already. Like, you made them, it's the longest road trip in the history of the Stanley Cup. You made them play 48 hours. You made them swing around from the Friday night to the Monday. But now they're in Florida and you're having them wait until Thursday. But I tell you what, guys, like, if the NBA would have played tonight, I bet you the NHL would have played tomorrow. But the NBA, hey, we're playing Wednesday, so the NHL was like, we don't have a choice. We can't play back-to-back, so we got to wait till Thursday now.
And now they can play Saturday, which is nice for them. The NHL likes that, true. Right?
Yeah, but what, Saturday back in Edmonton?
Yeah.
So they got to go Thursday, Saturday back to Edmonton.
Yeah, that's travel.
But then they don't play.
They're going to have more days rest in Florida, like you said, than they are with the travel. I mean, it's kind of crazy. But Edmonton won't mind. They're used to it all year, right? They're used to it.
I think, though, that it's good for the Oilers in a sense. If you were Florida, you'd rather play right away. Things are going well for you right now. And if you're Edmonton, you really have like 72 hours to stew and steam over like how bad everything went last night and to that happening.
Falcons are actually relieved that he's kind of not there to create more of a distraction. Look, I mean, I said it the day it happened. It was one of the stupider decisions I've ever seen by a professional NFL franchise to sign a quarterback to a $180 million contract and then draft his replacement exactly 5 weeks later. This was a terrible organizational decision by the Falcons. Now, they're going to spin this, and this is what's annoying about the Falcons and their PR staff. They're going to spin this as if this is the plan we had all along. This is the plan that when Cousins either got hurt or didn't play well or got too old, we were going to have Penix come in. And guess what? Now, the new plan is now we're going to keep Kirk Cousins as a backup. So if Michael Penix gets hurt, we told you so. We were right for keeping him on the roster. We were smart for keeping him here. No, this whole thing has been an abject disaster.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do, but the Knicks are at a point now where they don't have to blow it up. They may still do so, and they have a right to do so, but with trading the 4 first-round picks and the pick swap for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks don't have a lot of room in regards to actual picks to throw at people.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I'm Morency, the Twisted Tuesday. Rick Saratella will step up, and then we will have a football talk to get to. We'll get into the CFL with Andrew McKinnis, but just a quick check of baseball right now. The Rockies have actually taken a 3-2 lead on the San Francisco Giants. We're in the bottom of the 6th right now, and suddenly the Rockies have become minus 180 favorites. Giants plus 150 right now. Still scoreless in San Diego, top of the 3rd. Dodgers are plus 115 right now. San Diego minus 145, total 6.5. Mariners and D-backs still scoreless. We jumped in on the under 9.5. In that baseball game, it's plummeted all the way to 6.5 right now. Cam, any late night baseball picks for you?
I don't want to go against you, Gabe, but I looked at that pitching matchup and I took San Diego against your LA Dodgers tonight. I actually took Colorado when they were pooches. I wouldn't suggest laying $1.90 with Colorado. That's what they are in FanDuel right now. The Rockies have actually been good to me. I don't bet them often, but the few games they win, they've been really good. I have a lean to the Angels, Gabe, but I don't like the price right now at minus 184. Great call by you. Great pitching matchup in Seattle and Arizona. Right now, Arizona's minus 200. Seattle might offer a little bit of value right now, but I do like your under. I'd even play it at 6.5 right now.
Yeah, I don't understand why Seattle were like plus 150, plus 140, etc. That's what they are right now. Any baseball for you, Andrew?
Just Seattle, actually, funny enough. The only game I ended up taking today.
So you're on the Seattle Mariners as well. All right, let's get it. Canada and the Ivory Coast in the 76th minute right now in Toronto. Still scoreless. So we're going to scoreless draw right now. I'm hoping Canada can bury a late one. I have them at plus 110. I do have under 2.5, which is looking good, and I got under 1.5 in the game as well. So we'll try to chip away there. So NBA Finals tomorrow, finally back in Indianapolis. Oklahoma City Thunder, 5.5-point road favorites, McKinnis. Total 228.5. What's your opinion on the big game 3 in Indianapolis? And let me just sort of say something here about the Pacers, too. It's weird with the Pacers. Normally, they've won. They're like on the road the first 2 games. They go home and lose game 3, right? They did that against the Cavaliers. They did it against the New York Knicks. This time they split, right? So they're coming off the loss this time. So the pattern doesn't set up so much. So I brought it up last night, and that I feel that they're going to split in Indianapolis. I'm just not really sure, like, which one is which. Like, you know what I mean? I do like the over tomorrow, 228.5, but I'll get the number up here right now, guys, for, like, what's the series going to be after 4 games. I say it's going to be 2-2. But, you know, I'm not sure about tomorrow night's game. What's your opinion, McKinnis?
Look, I picked OKC in 5. So if that's the case, then I'm backing them tomorrow, and I'm taking them ATS. I think one thing interesting way we can approach this game is this. In the game the Pacers won, can any of us agree that they obviously didn't deserve to win it? So is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? Do they have a game in them that they deserve to win? Or was that their win that they're going to get? I think if you're the Pacers, it's a better look on you if you had a game you actually deserved to win. Thunder go ahead and smoke them in the next one. Now the series switched back to Indiana. I think it's going to take another 17-point lead comeback for Indiana for them to win another game. That's the way I look. I think this is just a discounted number. We're changing locations. We're getting a better number. Sign me up for OKC. I think there has to be so many things that go right for this team to win outright. Whereas if OKC just plays, well-rounded basketball, they're getting the job done against this team. I just believe it. And I think that, the top players will have to play phenomenally for Indiana versus OKC can just have a well-rounded game and get the job done. So I think we're getting a discounted number here.
I don't believe in a deserve angle in the sense that if you look at the Pacers, they have 5 wins in the playoffs where they were down by 15 or more points. So it's just, all that matters is you win the game, right? Whether you were down, whether you blew the lead. I think you're underestimating them at home a little bit. But for the record, McKinnis and Cam, if you think that the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to be up 3-1 after 4, so the next 2, Thunder's plus 125. Pacers to be up 3-1 is plus 600. My bet is that they're going to be tied at 2 going back to Oklahoma City, and that's plus 105 right now. So series tied 2-2 after 4 games, plus 105. We'll continue NBA talk, get into the Stanley Cup Finals. Week 2 of the CFL is less than 48 hours away. Rick Saratella's got a bunch of picks for us. UFL championship game this weekend as well. So we got a lot of stuff to break down this evening. And Joe Ranieri in the house. We'll take a look at the U.S. Open. As the U.S. Open's now like less than 48 hours away as well. So we're rocking and rolling here tonight. Twisted Tuesday.
Falcons are actually relieved that he's kind of not there to create more of a distraction. Look, I mean, I said it the day it happened. It was one of the stupider decisions I've ever seen by a professional NFL franchise to sign a quarterback to a $180 million contract and then draft his replacement exactly 5 weeks later. This was a terrible organizational decision by the Falcons. Now, they're going to spin this, and this is what's annoying about the Falcons and their PR staff. They're going to spin this as if this is the plan we had all along. This is the plan that when, Kirk Cousins either got hurt or didn't play well or got too old, we were going to have Penix come in. And guess what? The new plan is now we're going to keep Kirk Cousins as a backup. So if Michael Penix gets hurt, we told you so. We were right for keeping him on the roster. We were smart for keeping him here. No, this whole thing has been an abject disaster.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do, but the Knicks are at a point now where they don't have to blow it up. They may still do so, and they have a right to do so, but with trading the 4 first-round picks and the pick swap for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks don't have a lot of room in regards to actual picks to throw at people.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
I don't know why everybody, out of all the players on Team Canada, has to get hurt. It has to be a dude on the Whitecaps, but Adebuke just got hurt. It's like, of course, right? It is what it is. The Whitecaps got 3 guys on the field tonight, and one of them, he's been down like 6 times tonight, though. So I don't know. Maybe it's just an accumulation of things. Hopefully he's all right. We're in the 82nd minute right now, still scoreless in this soccer game. And as I mentioned, USA lost 4-0 earlier tonight to Switzerland in Nashville. And Major League Baseball. So there's a bunch of routes going on. Yankees routing the Royals 10-2. Rockies, though, this is not a rout. They're up 3-2 right now. You can get plus 160 with the San Francisco Giants. A's and Angels still scoreless, bottom of 4, over under 5.5. Dodgers and San Diego right now, still scoreless as well. And both teams have got runners on, but both teams also only have 1 hit. In-game total is all the way down to 6.5 in that game right now. And Seattle and Arizona, the D-backs have taken a 2-0 lead on the Seattle Mariners. Currently minus 400 right now. Seattle up to plus 300. Seattle, the over-under is 8.5. It's the top of the 4th inning right now. And there's only 2 runs, so I'm not too panicked. And the total just moved to 7.5, actually. All right, so McKinnis, you sound pretty confident. You're on board. You're not backing off the Oklahoma City Thunder. What about any opinion on the total tomorrow? It's 228.5.
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting because a lot of people seem to be on the over in the last game, and I'm trying to figure out who it benefits the most to see points. Because obviously we saw the Oklahoma City Thunder running the court, but I think Indiana's going to have a good first half. And I think that throughout the playoffs so far, pace kind of helped them out. But I think they're going to probably try and utilize the clock. They're going to try and pass it around, have strong possessions. I might lean towards a first half under because I think the first half is going to be where Indiana keeps it close. And the second half is where that point spread starts to get covered for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I could see the game kind of starting as an under. Maybe you can get an in-game over, but to me, I would go first half under. I think that the Pacers can certainly play a fast game, but I think it's anything you can do, I can do better type of thing. I think Oklahoma says, sure, you want to play like that? I'll play like that as well. So I feel like the first half's got to go under for Indiana to stay within, reach, and then probably second half we'll see Oklahoma run away with it. I don't know. What do you think, Gabe? Do you feel like the over benefits your Pacers prediction?
Yeah. I think that the Pacers, I do agree with you, though, that Oklahoma City are so good. They're so big, right? So they're hard to deal with in a half-court setting. And they're so good defensively. So really, to me, the only way you're going to beat them is not letting them set up and try to, outrace them down the court and play fast. And quite frankly, that's how the Pacers have been beating everybody. But they also got older teams, slower teams along the way. But, the Oklahoma City are so young and athletic, it's a little bit different. It's a tougher task. But I would say that the Pacers are going to want to push the pace, like, big time. The slower the game is, the worse it goes for them. Like, they need, these crazy high-scoring games, actually. Oklahoma City can play any style. If it's a low-scoring game, the Pacers are in trouble, in my opinion, Cam. But are you taking the 5.5 tomorrow with the Pacers? Basically, you know what, guys? Let me say this. If I think that the Pacers are going to split at home, it's plus 180 on the money line, right? I take the plus 180 on the money line. Yeah, hey, if they lose, they'll be plus 200 on the money line in game 4 after. So that's another way of approaching it. But for me, it's Pacers or bust, guys. I think the Pacers are going to split. I'm not as down on the Pacers as Andrew is. What's your pick, Kim?
I feel the exact same way. If you're going to bet the Indiana Pacers on the spread, I think we have to put something on the money line. I think after the series, after 4 games, it will be 2-2. Also, Gabe, I'm thinking about our bet in our back pocket. Thank God they won the first game there on that crazy shot, because now we get that spread bet. They split, we win that plus 2.5. So I'm just basically going more in instead of going the other way. I think the number, people are going to bet Oklahoma City, but I'll tell you, Indiana at home has been absolutely fantastic. And I do agree with you, Morency. Pace and the Pacers, that's what they have to do. Oklahoma City, yeah, you're right. They can play any type of style, but I think Indiana has to get up, punch them in the face early in the first quarter and first half, and then extend. One thing, McKinnis, and Gabe and I know, Oklahoma City, once in a while, they'll lay that one road game egg. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens right now. It is the NBA final, but I'm going to take the points in the money line with the Pacers. I think they win one of these 2 games.
And we've got the Stanley Cup.
Do you guys think that if they hang around, I think they win? I think it's either OKC wins the game, or I think if Indiana wins the game outright, or OKC Thunder covers. I'd be willing to just, if I like Indiana, I would want to just bet the money line. I can't see it being they hung on for 5 points for the cover. Here's something kind of interesting. You can bet the minus 9.5 plus 160 for the Oklahoma City Thunder, or you can take the money line plus 180 on the Indiana Pacers. Because I think that if the Oklahoma City Thunder win tomorrow, they're winning by 10 or more points. And I think if Indiana wins or covers, they're winning the game. I can't see a world we live in where Indiana just hangs on by 3 and barely loses the game. I think if you like Indiana, you take them to win the game.
The pattern has been, actually, though, with the Oklahoma City Thunder on the road is they get drilled in one of the games and play a close game in the other game and generally win it. Right? They're like Cam said, there has been a couple of blowout losses for them in road settings, right? And then they bounce back right after. Listen, I think the Pacers are in trouble in the big picture here right now. I actually thought, I started to buy in that the Pacers could win this series outright and that this thing is going to go 7. I don't want to abandon ship right now. We did bet the Pacers plus 2.5 games in the series, and I think they can nail down another one, but I'll take the Pacers on the money line 2 games in a row at home. Hopefully I can hit it tomorrow, and I can deal with, I already win the bet. I don't have to worry about it in game 4. I could readapt. But that plus 180 to me is pretty attractive. All right, so the Oilers and the Panthers, they're off until Thursday. Oilers are plus 125. They were plus 120 last night. We were hoping that it would be a little bit higher. I called it last night. I said they'll probably just raise 5 cents, and it is right now plus 125. Panthers are minus 150. The total is 6.5. I don't like to use the term must-win, guys, but the Oilers are pretty much in a must-win situation. They can't go down the same road that they went last year and have to win 3 games in a row. Last year was 4 games in a row. I actually don't think it matters whether it was 2-1 or whether it's 6-1. I think it's almost better that it was 6-1, guys. It'll refocus the Oilers. I didn't like their comments today. I saw Evander Kane still complaining about the refereeing and the Panthers get away with stuff. And it's dude, just worry about playing hockey, right? They're in your head right now. The Panthers want the Oilers to take a million penalties and do stupid things. As Cam said last night, they traded Darnell Nurse for a scrub last night. Like, they're good at it. This is what they do, right? Like, they're masters at it. What's your pick for Thursday? How do you think it goes, McInnes?
I like the Oilers, and just based on what we've seen in this series so far, what is it? 3 straight first period overs, 3 straight games going over, and 3 straight times the team that won the game hit their team total over. And I'll tell you what, guys, you're going to get a real good price on not just the Oilers to win at that plus money, but on their team total over 3.5 goals. I mean, I don't see a world right now in this matchup where the Oilers win and they don't score 4 goals. I think maybe out of the next handful of games,
then the Oklahoma City takes. That I
over 3.5. Over 3.5.
I don't like your basketball picks. I agree with the hockey.
plus 165. I mean, I know that might sound crazy.
And stuff, Cam, but it makes sense what he said. Like, the Oilers aren't winning
totally
2-0 on Thursday. If they win, they're going to win 5-2 or something. 5-3.
And they better find a way to jump on Bobrovsky early. Get some damn traffic in front of the net so we can't see the damn puck. And Skinner, I hate to say it, he's going to have to be exceptional, Gabe. And that's one thing. He can't be just good. He has to be special. And he's going to have to make some huge saves.
If there's an early breakaway, he needs to stop it. The guy's like giving up like 4 straight breakaway goals. Like, it's too much. Like, every time the Panthers get a breakaway, they score. Like, you've got to stop these.
Draisaitl, McDavid, and Nugent-Hopkins, 3 shots combined. The Hart Trophy winner for this year had 0 shots last year.
Falcons are actually relieved that he's kind of not there to create more of a distraction. Look, I mean, I said it the day it happened. It was one of the stupider decisions I've ever seen by a professional NFL franchise to sign a quarterback to a $180 million contract and then draft his replacement exactly 5 weeks later. This was a terrible organizational decision by the Falcons. Now, they're going to spin this, and this is what's annoying about the Falcons and their PR staff. They're going to spin this as if this is the plan we had all along. This is the plan that when, Kirk Cousins either got hurt or didn't play well or got too old, we were going to have Penix come in. And guess what? The new plan is now we're going to keep Kirk Cousins as a backup. So if Michael Penix gets hurt, we told you so. We were right for keeping him on the roster. We were smart for keeping him here. No, this whole thing has been an abject disaster.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do, but the Knicks are at a point now where they don't have to blow it up. They may still do so, and they have a right to do so, but with trading the 4 first-round picks and the pick swap for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks don't have a lot of room in regards to actual picks to throw at people.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Oh, Canada just had a free kick in the 95th minute, and Cornelius just came so effing close. I thought they were going to bury it. It would have been a nice win with a minute left on the way out. Seeing the replay here, what happened? Buddy on the Ivory Coast just kicked it out. It should be.
You bet these other games too, Morency? You got Mexico and Turkey. You got your old stomping ground, Costa Rica versus Trinidad and Tobago. What is it? What do they got? Trinidad and Tobago? El Salvador? Man, there's a lot of crazy action tonight.
Yeah. It's soccer season. It's like it's happy hour. So it's always there's always a soccer game somewhere, Cam. Like
that's true.
It's always something. You know what? I'm glad you brought it up. That Costa Rica, Trinidad and Tobago game right now, that's important. It's a World Cup qualifying game.
You are correct.
These games matter. Like El Salvador and Suriname right now tied at 1. Honduras and Antigua and Barbuda, they're scoreless right now. Honduras minus 1,400 in game. Puerto Rico up 2-1 on St. Vincent Grenadines. Peru and Ecuador. See, that's the one I should have got in on, Cam. I would have bet the under of that.
And Peru, Ecuador? That's a first team to one.
It was probably like minus 250, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because look, even now, guys,
we're in the 0.5 goals.
Yeah, exactly. We're in the 59th minute, guys. So and they're going to add a ton of extra time here. So there's like 40 minutes left in this game, and the in-game total is 0.5. It's like you're betting will they score a goal in the next 40 minutes. But yeah, you got to love it. Soccer season is here. All right, so we're talking about the Stanley Cup finals. Let's move on to the CFL Week 2. BC Lions. This point spread surprises me that they're 2.5-point road favorites against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. BC looked good in the second half, right? So, I think that's what the thought process is here, that there's an advantage for the team that's already played a game. That's not really the case, though. And we've seen this over the years in the CFL. Teams that have had the bye week have often won because they've had an extra camp and stuff. But the difference is here, Zach Collaros, the quarterback, former Cincinnati Bearcat, started quarterback for the Bombers. It's been 3 years in a row that he conveniently missed the CFL drug test, right? So that's why he got suspended. It wasn't once. It's been like 3 years in a row. I don't think Zach Collaros is, whatever. Like, I don't think the guy's like... I don't think he's Lance Armstrong or anything like that. Like, he's there's no need to do steroids. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm the starting quarterback of the Bombers. Inject me.
Yeah, like what's he really doing? Like, I don't know.
Doing? Smoking weed?
It's more of a, whatever it is, whatever. He missed the test, and they finally said, all right, you're suspended for 1 game. So he's suspended. Yeah, exactly. So he's out there with Taylor Swift. He's hanging out in the luxury boxes. So he's busy. I don't know, whatever. I got no beef with him. But he ain't playing in the game. Chris Traveler will be the starting quarterback. BC, 2.5-point road favorites. Totals 49.5. Montreal Alouettes and Ottawa on Friday. Big Eastern Division tilt here. Alouettes. This number has been floating around, actually, bouncing around from -1 for each team. But it's basically a pick 'em, -115 on the money line. Calgary Stampeders are in Toronto to take on the Argonauts. Stamps are +3. This is my upset alert. Like, I rode the Stamps in week 1. I disagreed with the McKennis about the win total with the 6.5. I thought that this was a soft number for this Calgary team. And Toronto looked like they got a lot of work to do right now. And we were talking about the win total of the Argos. Bet365 had an 11.5 at -130, and I pounced on that. I'm not so sure the Argos even win this game, Cam. Like, Calgary could go in there and beat them outright. I wouldn't be shocked.
I'll never go to as many games as you, Gabe, but I'm trying to put this one, I'm trying to lock it down.
It's a Saturday game for you. Yeah,
it's Saturday at 4. Like, if I'm going to go to a game, it's going to be this one. Like, no more damn excuse.
Yeah, that's just the Saturday afternoon for you.
That's the thing. I'm like, and my buddy down the street, I just met my neighbor with kids. He's a huge Argo fan. So I'm like, okay, dude, maybe we just go to the game. Bring everybody. But I'm with you, Morency. I think the Argos have a lot of issues. And we saw in this game against Montreal, like, you were right, though, Gabe. On one play, they could have had a touchdown, but they didn't connect on that play. They scored 10 points. And one thing about Calgary is, let's give them credit. Everybody was on Hamilton that game, but they scored. Their offense was efficient. The defense, you know what? This game might have over on it because I think Toronto will get theirs, but Calgary will get theirs too. I have a lean to the Stampeders, so I think the Argos, kind of like the Bombers last season. It might take them a few weeks to get their train on the track.
McCannis, what do you think about the CFL card this week?
Gabe, I got to say, I was shocked. I mean, after all the ripping about the Red Blacks that I did, and then you hopped on their defensive attorney, and then you go ahead and bet against them, and now you're a Calgary fan coming after me. I'm starting to feel like Morency just wants to be head-to-head with me, no matter what my opinion is here. But for me,
I think Ottawa could be in trouble, actually, this week. But doesn't mean I don't think Ottawa will be good later in the season. I just think, like, Montreal always beat them. So it's just one of these sort of head-to-head deals that, you know what I mean? Montreal own Ottawa over the years. But what's your take on the card?
Yeah, this card to me is, I mean, everyone always says week 2 across all football leagues is overreaction week, guys. So we try and pick some spots where people are going to, think a little bit highly about one team that might not be as good as people are thinking. But when I look at this one here, this is, you bet on the team with the injured quarterback, or in this instance, it's the suspended quarterback. I like the Winnipeg Blue Bombers here. I think this number actually might get to 3. We see a book right now that has 2.5 at minus 120, 125. The next step is 3. I would be very comfortable getting Winnipeg at home plus the 3. They still have Oliveira. They still have a lot of defensive weapons. Sure, there's been some guys they've lost. They lost certain weapons on offense, but this is still a team that is experienced, built off vets, and that's what they're known for. When I look at BC, they're off a game against the Elks. One of the big things about BC, a lot of websites will tell you in the rankings where they're worried about their offensive line. The Elks aren't going to test the BC Lions offensive line. I think we can all agree on that. This is an example of a BC team that wasn't even winning at halftime, that came off a win against the worst team in the league potentially. Now they got to go ahead and play a team that, as Gabe said, got an extra week to practice. So, this is a spot that I like because last year in week 1, the Bombers were laying 7.5 points. Now in week 1, they're getting 2.5 points. I hope it gets to 3. As far as that Toronto-Calgary game is concerned, the numbers come out. I think that it's not going to be Chad Kelly. That's what it's looking like. It might be Arbuckle again. What I'd like to happen is that number to start squeezing even more, get as close as it possibly can to pick him, and then I'll pounce at the best number I possibly can on the Argos. I like Hamilton plus the points quite a bit. We'll get to that on the other side.
Falcons are actually relieved that he's kind of not there to create more of a distraction. Look, I mean, I said it the day it happened. It was one of the stupider decisions I've ever seen by a professional NFL franchise to sign a quarterback to a $180 million contract and then draft his replacement exactly 5 weeks later. This was a terrible organizational decision by the Falcons. Now, they're going to spin this, and this is what's annoying about the Falcons and their PR staff. They're going to spin this as if this is the plan we had all along. This is the plan that when, Kirk Cousins either got hurt or didn't play well or got too old, we were going to have Penix come in. And guess what? The new plan is now we're going to keep Kirk Cousins as a backup. So if Michael Penix gets hurt, we told you so. We were right for keeping him on the roster. We were smart for keeping him here. No, this whole thing has been an abject disaster.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do, but the Knicks are at a point now where they don't have to blow it up. They may still do so, and they have a right to do so, but with trading the 4 first-round picks and the pick swap for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks don't have a lot of room in regards to actual picks to throw at people.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Canada and the Ivory Coast are in shootout penalty kicks right now. Canada's leading the shootout 2-1, now 3-1. They're close to winning this thing. But we already lost the play because it went into extra time, into penalty kicks, etc. But we escaped with a little bit of a profit with both the 2.5s. All right, so the CFL, we were going over week 2 of the CFL. We'll hit it again with Sarah a little bit later on. Montreal Alouettes, they look good at home. They were very just efficient. One thing, guys, with Davis Alexander, very dangerous with his legs, this quarterback. Like, he's not shy to take off, and he's pretty fast. He's deceptive, because I don't think people think of, Davis Alexander is like a dual threat guy, but he is a dual threat guy. And there were countless times last week where the Argos' young secondary actually were covering pretty well. Like, they were doing a good job, and he would burn them, right? It was one of those, all right, you're going to drop back, I'm going to take off, right? And if you want to stack the box, I'm going to throw the ball over you. And it was quite the combination that they had going. This is a big, Ottawa, they had a tough schedule. They played a preseason game on the road. Then they had to go on the road to play on the Thursday night. No excuses for them. This is a big game, McInnes, but I know you're anti-Ottawa, so I'm expecting you to like Montreal here.
Well, the funny thing is I saw this opening number, and you're right, I am. But I saw this opening number, and it made me scratch my head, and I was like, maybe I'll just take the over in this game here. And then I was like, you know what? They've got a talented offensive group. Like, when you look at Eugene Lewis, Braylon Addison, some of these guys for Ottawa, I mean, look at the numbers. 413 yards for Drew Brown, Justin Hardy, 8 catches, 103 yards, Braylon Addison, 112 yards. But here's the deal. In the CFL, a lot of times, even though I'm backing Chris Streveler this week, there's a big drop-off from QB1 to QB2. And the reason why we saw the number flip from -1 Red Blacks to -1 Montreal is because we were waiting for, it seems to be no reporters care about any team in Ontario besides Hamilton, but I was waiting for the announcement as far as who's taking QB1 reps. And Drew Brown is listed as questionable. And if it's Matthew Schultz, then I'm 1,000% betting Montreal. In fact, I already have bet Montreal. Originally, I wanted to just bet the over, but at the end of the day, I don't care how many weapons Ottawa has on offense. I don't care they were 7-1-1 last year at home if it's Matthew Schultz as the quarterback. So if it is, that number is going to get to -3 potentially for Montreal. So I feel like I got in early. I got Montreal -110 on the money line. I was shocked they cut Walter Fletcher before week 1 began. Sean Thomas Erlington, 17 carries, 86 yards. All I heard from the coach's staff was that's all we're going to do. We're going to try and run the ball on everybody every single week. We want to dominate the line of scrimmage. It sounds like cutting Walter Fletcher didn't do too much because Sean Thomas Erlington guys did very well. And how about that defense? Midseason form from Montreal.
Montreal guys have beaten Ottawa 8 straight times. Crazy. I talked about it being a one-sided rivalry. 8 straight times. The last time they lost to them was October the 10th, 2022.
7-1 ATS.
Yeah, there's been some close games. 19-12, 24-12, 47-21, 29-3, 32-15, 25-24, 19-12, and 34-30. So sort of all over the place. But it really has been a one-sided rivalry. All right, this is pretty crazy. Canada and the Ivory Coast have both scored 3 times on the penalty kick and have both been stopped once right now. So this is getting real. Canada are kicking their 5th attempt here right now. I didn't like his attempt. He went really slow and kind of played around, but he ended up scoring. Yeah, he danced around before he kicked it, and then he just kind of rolled the ball into the net. But it's a ballsy thing to do. But Canada now leading the PKs 4-3. This is it. If Ivory Coast score, it continues. If they don't score, Canada wins. A lot of drama going on right now with BMO, where the Argos are going to be playing, actually. All right, so and we got the Rough Riders. McInnes, hang in here. We'll get you out in a couple of minutes on the other side. We'll hit the Rough Rider Ticat game, and I'm going to surprise people maybe a little bit on this one because I'm kind of anti-Hamilton, like McInnes is about the Red Blacks. I question their defense. Bo Levi, I think he can put sort of numbers up, but when they're trailing games. But I think this is a big game for them. They're getting 3.5 points on their home field. I think I think this is going to be a really close game. And we saw Saskatchewan guys; they only won by 5 last week. All right, now Ottawa chipped away. It nearly ended up covering the spread, Cam. So I think Hamilton and Saskatchewan will be a track meet. I think there'll be some points in the CFL this week. All right, here it is: the Canadian Shield on the line, penalty kick. Ivory Coast score. So now it continues.
These guys won't go away.
They got a ton of fans in Toronto, too, right?
Falcons are actually relieved that he's kind of not there to create more of a distraction. Look, I mean, I said it the day it happened. It was one of the stupider decisions I've ever seen by a professional NFL franchise to sign a quarterback to a $180 million contract and then draft his replacement exactly 5 weeks later. This was a terrible organizational decision by the Falcons. Now, they're going to spin this, and this is what's annoying about the Falcons and their PR staff. They're going to spin this as if this is the plan we had all along. This is the plan that when, Kirk Cousins either got hurt or didn't play well or got too old, we were going to have Penix come in. And guess what? The new plan is now we're going to keep Kirk Cousins as a backup. So if Michael Penix gets hurt, we told you so. We were right for keeping him on the roster. We were smart for keeping him here. No, this whole thing has been an abject disaster.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do, but the Knicks are at a point now where they don't have to blow it up. They may still do so, and they have a right to do so, but with trading the 4 first-round picks and the pick swap for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks don't have a lot of room in regards to actual picks to throw at people.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
All right, kid, I don't know what you're so smiling about. The kid on Canada is all like smiling and kind of laughing it up. The kid that just like missed on a terrible penalty shot that I would have stopped. Like, bro, it was a terrible attempt. Ivory Coast just won. It's not the end of the world, whatever. It's a friendly. You know what I mean? It's just a game, but still frustrating. I think actually it was for they actually called it a Canadian Shield tournament. So I think the Ivory Coast just took the Canadian Shield home. All right, we got McInnes for a couple of more minutes. Joe Ranieri is AWOL right now. I would say he doesn't want to face the music, but his team is up 2-1. So I don't think that's the case. He's probably just, I don't know, cooked in the Miami sun. He's out, and he's out in South Beach being the hipster that he is, a lot of places that Joe Ranieri could be right now. McInnes knows Joe as well, right? There's a lot of places Joe could be right now.
I think he's kicking back in the pool, having a good time, cooking up some more tweets about bragging about Bill Zito and the Florida Panthers management getting $4 million tax benefits off the Florida Panthers. That's what I think. He's crafting more tweets coming after me, you, Cam, Joe Madden. I mean, he was finding all the Canadians he knew to come after on Twitter yesterday. I saw it all.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you saw it. Exactly. And he said, so when are you going to have me on the show? Because before the series started, I happened to be on the air with him. And there was a lot of friendly smack talk going on. And he goes, hey, don't be scared to have me on when the Panthers are winning the series. And then last night he was talking smack when they went up 2-1. So I said, all right, let's do it tonight. But he's not here. I'm going to make sure he comes on Thursday after the game, after the Oilers win. That's what we got to get him.
That's a good call.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
I like that.
I was willing to do it after the Panthers won, right? It goes both ways here. But no, we'll get Ranieri. But so Bizanet got ripped for this by Bettman. Bettman's like, scoff. That's the dumbest take ever. It's not the dumbest take ever. It's actually been discussed quite a bit. Bettman, obviously was ready for it, and he's a lawyer, so he's going to have some comebacks. And he said, well, what are we going to do? We're going to give the Rangers and the LA Kings a break because taxes are high in New York and California. And listen, he said it never mattered before when the Florida Panthers weren't good. I would counter that by saying that the salaries weren't big enough before. It was different. Like it wasn't as in the forefront as it is now. But it is a point that, you know what I mean? I do agree that, yeah, if you have a good organization, people are going to want to play for you. But it is much harder to when players are free agents and they're on these teams, it's very difficult to match the contract. Like, you go back to the Steven Stamkos. Stamkos was kind of willing to leave the Lightning once years ago, right? Toronto guy, and the Leafs were all in. And the Leafs offered him like the max at the time. I don't know, it was like $8 million a year or something. And he basically said, but I get this from Tampa, and the tax difference is just massive. And then the Leafs tried to get a deal with like Canadian Tire and Tim Hortons and Bauer and blah, blah, blah. They cut all these deals for him. And they said, listen, you'll make up the money in sponsorship. And then Bettman and company stepped in and basically said, you can't, it's like Kawhi Leonard wanted a helicopter from the Raptors to stay. You can't, it doesn't work that way. This isn't college. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he wanted a helicopter.
That's my final offer.
We're not allowed to give you a helicopter. Like, you got mad.
Yeah.
Raptors, I will not sign unless I get a chopper. Are you with me?
But you're not allowed perks in pro sports, right? Yeah. You're not allowed perks. But anyways, long story short, the tax difference. So like Sam Bennett, a good example on the Florida Panthers now. Let's say a team wants to sign him. Let's say you offer him $10 million a year. And if you're the Leafs, you offer him $10 million a year. He's going to end up only keeping up like 6.5 of it. And then if he stays with the Florida Panthers for $8 million, he'll still make more. So he could take $2 million less from them and still make more money, and or go to the Dallas Stars or the Tampa Bay Lightning and do the same thing. What was your take, McKinnis? Because I know you had a take on Bettman's comments.
Well, it just makes me laugh that his big argument for being a lawyer is, well, if this wasn't an argument 10 years ago, it shouldn't have been one now. I mean, I didn't like red wine 10 years ago, but I damn right love it now. Doesn't mean that that's an argument. I mean, this is something that you can change your mind. Things can be different now. I mean, the fact of the matter is they're going to be able to sign Sam Bennett for $7-8 million a year when for any other team, they're paying $10 million for him. Bill Zito is a good general manager with his trades. The Reinhart, the Verhaeghe, the Tkachuk, all of that. Nobody is arguing he's not a good general manager. But the fact that people are going to be blinded, and I mean blinded, by the fact they're getting discounts by re-signing. The key word is re-signing, not trading, re-signing. I mean, the fact of the matter is players don't just want to play there. So the fact that Bettman said to us, the fact that he goes, you know what? Well, why didn't it matter years ago and it matters now? Well, Bettman, they caught on. They caught on. They didn't catch on before. I mean, Florida Panthers, Vegas Golden Knights, Colorado Avalanche, Tampa Bay Lightning. So tell me if 4 to 5 of those teams, guys, do you guys see a pattern? Because Bettman doesn't see a pattern, but I see a pattern there.
No, there definitely is. And you know what? We'll see what happens with the free agency this year as well. And we'll see case in point how it plays out and where players go. It's a thinner free agents, class this year, but there's still a bunch of players out there. I do think, listen, guys want to play for the New York Rangers. Guys want to play for the LA Kings, and there's bigger taxes there. There's no dispute that, but I think McKinnis is really onto something, and we've talked about it a lot. Like, potential free agent players don't leave these teams because they can literally get paid less money to stay. How can you compete with that? But I even said, like, you can't start changing stuff because of taxes in states all the time or provinces. Because like you said, McKinnis, things change. So what if a new government comes in and then there's a new tax? So are you going to change things every year in the NHL? Like, it's too convoluted and complicated. But I can't help but think it would be a fairer system, Cam, if it was like $12 million is $12 million. And every team, the contract, and it was just that's the contract and that's the money you're getting. Right? Like, but that's not the way that it works.
No, you guys nailed it on the head. McKinnis, I didn't like red wine 10 years ago, but no, well said by both of you guys. And there is a pattern, and there is these markets,
let teams go over the cap like they do in the NBA and stuff, and just say, listen, if you're the Leafs and you really want to compete with Tampa Bay with this, go ahead, spend the money, and we're going to ding you for a $2 million fine. It goes into the player. Wink. It's like every team. Here's the money. Luxury tax in the NBA. We don't want to suck. We'll pay the extra money so we don't suck. Here's your money. right? That's the way they should do it. I said they should just let that happen, where come up with some creative things where teams are allowed to just sort of go over if they want to, and have some small fines for it, etc. And it would make the league more competitive as well.
What about revenue share, Gabe? I mean, do the Montreal Canadiens have to share their revenue, and the New York Rangers with the Florida Panthers with their 500 fans to come to game 45? Because we have the revenue share. That's the thing, though. The revenue share is a real thing. All 82 teams have revenue share. So why do they have to revenue share for teams getting $2 million tax breaks?
That's a fair point.
Good point.
Yeah, that's why the Bettman wouldn't want you on the panel asking these questions.
McInnes is shredding Bettman, man. McInnes is a lawyer.
I'm ready.
I'm bitter,
sort of
though.
I'm very bitter.
Like, oh, ha, 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 ha. Like they all like, no one challenge or anything like that. Like, yeah. Thanks, Hedges.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all. Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts, so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. We'll get into the U.S. Open in a minute. We'll see what Smiley Kaufman has to say about it as well. We'll see what Cam thinks about the U.S. Open. Tomorrow we've got Brady Cannon in the house as well. Rockies up 5-3 on San Francisco. The Giants had a 5-game winning streak going, gunning for 6, but looks like they're in trouble. Top of the ninth right now. They're plus 750 money line. Arizona up 4-0 on Seattle. I am on Seattle, but I'm on the under 9.5 as well. Athletics up 1-0 on the LA Angels right now, and San Diego have exploded, Cam. They put up 3 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, 5-0 for the Friars right now over the Dodgers.
Yeah, that was. I liked San Diego tonight, Gabe. I don't know. What do you think the Dodgers are going to do? Like they got a lot of different starters and injuries right now. Obviously, it's a long season, but it's a little bit concerning, Morency. Like, you know what I mean? Some of these other teams are really stepping up, but the Dodgers are going to be there in the end. But are you concerned?
No, I'm not. And I know that. Listen, the Dodgers are 16. They were 16-16 in their last 32 games coming in to tonight, but. With the concern, Cam, there's only, I'm looking right now, I just want to confirm, there's 3 teams in all of Major League Baseball that have won more games than them. Like, it's not like they're you know what I mean? And they're in first place, right? Like, they've won, they're 13 games over 500, they're 40-27, like, they'll be 40-28 after tonight. They've had a ton of injuries to the pitching staff. It's about getting through this. Winning the division, making the playoffs, and whatever. It's it's about the big picture with them. But if you look, Cam, like I said, they're on pace to win 99 games right now.
That's crazy.
Their win total was 103.5. So they're a little off the pace right now because they haven't had the best month. But it's a problem with their pitching. That's the only thing I would say. You can't just say that is it bad luck? Is there? The former manager of the Angels, Madden, once talks. I saw him talking smack about the Dodgers. It didn't sound like he liked them very much, though. But like it was, he basically said that they get their pitchers hurt with the way that they handle their pitchers, and there must be something going on because it's not normal how many pitchers get hurt on their team. I don't know if it's just fluke type stuff, but like it is crazy how the Dodgers roll out. Like they got to roll out like these no-name dudes all the time. Because all their star pitchers are hurt, but they're just worried about the big picture. Yet San Francisco losing, San Diego are lingering, right? I mean, I actually think it's good for them too, Cam, in a sense that you can't, like, if you win a division by 40 games and stuff, and you're not playing any real baseball, bro, in August and September, it's hard to turn it on again, right? You see this all the time, dude. The teams that are playing to the final weekend go into the playoffs hot. All right, let's see what Smiley Kaufman has to say about the U.S. Open.
I don't know who you're going to put your money on this week, what the safest bet is here, but I do know this, Smiley. If you're looking at outright odds, where do you think we were talking about Scotty and Rory? They were in like the 4-1, 5-1-ish range for all these majors, for by and large, maybe a little bit higher or lower depending on the venue. Where do you think Scotty and Rory are now outright to win at Oakmont, the U.S. Open?
I do not know the answer to this, but I'm going to give you my best guess. They were both around that plus 450-ish range after the Masters when we were talking about the U.S. Open odds. I would imagine Scotty's have creeped down, especially 4 out of 5, and then coming off of a win at Memorial. I would say that he's probably creeped down to plus 375, and then I'm going to say that Rory McIlroy's probably creeped up to, gosh, if he was around plus 500, I would say that he's probably around plus 800 now.
You're getting really good at this game, Smiley. Plus 275 for Scotty Scheffler to win, and plus 850 for Rory McIlroy. So it just goes to show, at least in the handicapper's mind. And again, thanks to our friends at DraftKings Sportsbook for teeing that up. And by the way, you can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code SmileyShow. That's code SMYLIESHOW for new customers to score $300 in bonus bets when you win your $5 bet. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario, bet must win to receive reward, minimum minus 5,000 odds required. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. It's another disclaimer week, Smiley. How did I do, by the way?
I thought you were just going to do like a short version of it, and then once you got closer to Boot Hill Casino, that's when I knew we were all the way in.
Once you get to Boot Hill, there's no going back. We're going all the way to Kansas.
Thanks for sticking with us, folks.
I mean, at least it's somewhat entertaining to see if I can make it through that read.
That was actually really good. Well done.
I'll say, like, if that's the tone we're setting this week, we might just throw the recorded disclaimer out the window. I think I'm gonna have a handle on it. Although I'm gonna ask you to do it too. It's only fair to give us both a shot at it.
It's fair. That is fair. I definitely want to give it a bat.
But those are the DraftKings Sportsbook odds, and the separation, I think, is pretty stark there between two guys we felt like we're going to rule the golf landscape for the rest of the season. And no matter which driver Rory shows up with at Oakmont, I mean, you said it since the Truist, that we're just a little concerned about where he's at off the tee. You know, this feels like one of the worst possible venues you could have for a get right week at a major. Is that fair to say?
Definitely. You don't want to be coming into Oakmont looking for accuracy, because hitting the fairway is going to be so important. And for Rory, like I said earlier, it sets up his game when he's driving it good. These mammoth of par fours that they're going to have out here at this golf course become much more manageable. What will be helpful is that there is some rain in the forecast, and they've had a bunch of rain to this point. From my sources on the ground, outside the ropes, it's a slosh pit, mud pit. So make sure you're not bringing pretty white shoes over to Oakmont this week. It's going to be it's going to be a bit of an issue.
Falcons are actually relieved that he's kind of not there to create more of a distraction. Look, I mean, I said it the day it happened. It was one of the stupider decisions I've ever seen by a professional NFL franchise to sign a quarterback to a $180 million contract and then draft his replacement exactly 5 weeks later. This was a terrible organizational decision by the Falcons. Now, they're going to spin this, and this is what's annoying about the Falcons and their PR staff. They're going to spin this as if this is the plan we had all along. This is the plan that when, Kirk Cousins either got hurt or didn't play well or got too old, we were going to have Penix come in. And guess what? The new plan is now we're going to keep Kirk Cousins as a backup. So if Michael Penix gets hurt, we told you so. We were right for keeping him on the roster. We were smart for keeping him here. No, this whole thing has been an abject disaster.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do, but the Knicks are at a point now where they don't have to blow it up. They may still do so, and they have a right to do so, but with trading the 4 first-round picks and the pick swap for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks don't have a lot of room in regards to actual picks to throw at people.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. Let's do this thing. We got Rick Saratella stepping up, and then we got more CFL talk. I see some in our chat. Big Iron Scruff, what's up, my man? So he looks forward to the CFL talk. I'm like, we just did it with McKinnis for like 30 minutes. But we do have more with Rick Saratella coming up. Rick was a scout with the Edmonton Elks last year. But new management, new coaching staff, and all that. So Rick was out with the Elks, but he's got a passion for the CFL now. And he likes it. He can openly bet on it and pick games now, Cam. He couldn't as a scout before. You know?
That's right. Gabe, I like the Edmonton Elks. Like now, that's right. Now it's like you can get, if I want to take the Ottawa Red Blacks, I'll take the Ottawa Red Blacks. That's cool.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like he actually said last week, this isn't out of spite or anything, but I think Edmonton's going to get killed by BC.
This isn't out of spite. Meanwhile, yeah, that's it. I bet he's happy this week. Hey, Gabe, BC covered.
Yeah, he did, but he called. He said it could be problems for him. All right, so the U.S. Open, Scotty Scheffler's the big favorite, plus 280. Bryson's the next guy, plus 650. Bryson's won 2 of these things before. Rory's 13-1. John Rahm's 12-1. Xander's 24-1. Morikawa's 30-1. Ludwig 22-1. Neiman 27-1. Fleetwood 32-1. Justin Thomas. So you're getting some pretty big numbers on some very good golfers. I'm looking at some trends here, Cam. This is pretty interesting. Each of the last 10 winners have been inside the top 50 rankings. But how about this? In the last 53 major championship events, the only time that somebody wasn't ranked in the top 50 going into that major was Phil Mickelson, the 2021 PGA Championship.
Yep.
So just for the record, this is from CBS Sports. This would cut off Tom Kim, Cameron Young, Matt Fitzpatrick, Siwoo Kim, Michael Kim, Johnny Vegas, and Davis Riley. I don't know if you liked any of those guys, Cam.
I do like Cam Young for obviously a top 40s plus money, but I'm also going to sprinkle on him. Gabe, he's 150-1. Obviously, it's going to be just very small amounts, but he almost won the Canadian Open, made a mistake with a club on 18. But this course is very interesting, too. And I will tell you this, Morency, and driving has never been more important. And people talk about Scheffler, he's the favorite. But if he has a little bit loose of a driver at Oakmont, that is big, big trouble. So one guy, Xander Schauffele, was a little bit loose with the driver, but guys who hit it straight, be very, very careful, like the Fleetwoods of the world and all these other guys. I know Brady Cannon, we respect his golf opinion, and he likes Tommy Fleetwood. He got him at 55-1. Fleetwood's never won, but he's finished second a lot of the times. But this is a perfect type of course for him, Gabe, because I'll tell you something. I watch Golf Channel. If you guys hit it in the rough, you're dead here. Like, you need to be in the first cut. If you go into the second, third, or like the deep stuff, it's not like fescue grass in Scotland. Like, you'll break your arm. Like, it's almost impossible to get out. Plus, they're getting rain. That makes the rough even heavier.
Yeah, supposedly this course is a real torture chamber, Cam, for players, huh?
It's a beast. It's an absolute beast. It's not as long as you think, Gabe, but I'll tell you one thing. If you don't hit it straight and long, and I don't know, that's the thing too, the weather, a lot of these guys are going to, like short hitters, they're going to be going in with long clubs, and that's a disaster if you're in the rough too. But like a lot of guys, like you could take a look at these guys, Gabe, like the top 20s. Like I know you like Russell Henley sometimes, and these guys, you want guys, greens in regulation, guys who hit it straight, right down the middle, and then the approach game's important. And that's the thing about Bryson DeChambeau. If you look at all of his stats, and I love him this week, his wedge game is 146 in the world right now, but he switched up his wedges. I watched his press conference on Golf Channel today.
Yeah.
He thinks the new equipment could help him out. We'll see about that, but this is the one tournament, like Scheffler, once in a while will spray it. So you have to be very, very straight this week, and that's very good news for a guy like John Rahm, who's not getting a lot of credit, and he's a damn good player still.
Yeah, great breakdown, Cam. Actually, you know what? I don't like when guys have new equipment personally. Just me. I'm like, yeah, changing drivers, this and that, and changing clubs going into a major event. But good call with John Rahm. I see right now, this is pretty crazy. The three guys standing. So the last 10 champions average at least plus 0.75 strokes per game in the last 3 months leading up to their victories, which basically eliminates like almost everybody here, Cam. So going through this process, it's kind of longer and complicated. The last three golfers standing, Scotty Scheffler, Bryson DeChambeau, and John Rahm. You just mentioned John Rahm getting pretty good value. Is this the tournament where John Rahm steps up and reminds people, or at least was?
Yeah, he can win, Gabe. I like him for a top 10 at plus money, definitely. And I think he'll be there on Sunday. I'm not sure if he can get by, but 2 out of 3. I like DeChambeau and Rahm this week. We got better numbers with Scotty Scheffler, but he'll be there in the mix, as you know, every single tournament.
All right, we got some football talk with Rick Saratella on the other side. We get the UFL Championship game, CFL Week 2, some college football as well.
Falcons are actually relieved that he's kind of not there to create more of a distraction. Look, I mean, I said it the day it happened. It was one of the stupider decisions I've ever seen by a professional NFL franchise to sign a quarterback to a $180 million contract and then draft his replacement exactly 5 weeks later. This was a terrible organizational decision by the Falcons. Now, they're going to spin this, and this is what's annoying about the Falcons and their PR staff. They're going to spin this as if this is the plan we had all along. This is the plan that when, Kirk Cousins either got hurt or didn't play well or got too old, we were going to have Penix come in. And guess what? The new plan is now we're going to keep Kirk Cousins as a backup. So if Michael Penix gets hurt, we told you so. We were right for keeping him on the roster. We were smart for keeping him here. No, this whole thing has been an abject disaster.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do, but the Knicks are at a point now where they don't have to blow it up. They may still do so, and they have a right to do so, but with trading the 4 first-round picks and the pick swap for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks don't have a lot of room in regards to actual picks to throw at people.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The Twisted Tuesday continues. Let's do this thing with our main man, Rick Saratella, allaccessfootball.com, founder of the NFL Draft Bible, scout, football guru. There's a lot of stuff to break down. UFL championship game, week 1 CFL, NFL news. I want to talk a little college football as well. Good to see you, Rick. How you doing tonight?
Hey, what's happening, Gabe? Just love talking football with you. Exciting first week of CFL action. Looking forward to the UFL championship. Of course, that NFL calendar never dies.
Let's start off with the UFL, actually. I was somewhat surprised that DC was able to go into St. Louis and just beat them down the way that they did. They took an early 14-0 lead. The Battlehawks were trying to battle back all game after Duggan was struggling at quarterback, former TCU Horned Frog. He was struggling, and, DC really just, went wire to wire in that football game. Pretty impressive win for the DC Defenders. And remember, Rick, they were in a championship game a couple of years ago and ended up losing on their home field. And you got a Michigan Panther team that's been always one of the better teams as well in these leagues, XFL, UFL, whatever. But they were always in the same division with Birmingham all the time, right? Or, they just weren't quite the best, but they were really good. What are your thoughts on a Michigan and DC Defender UFL championship game?
Well, I'm not surprised. I got a chance to work with both of these general managers at the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl, Von Hutchins with the DC Defenders and Steve Kaiser with the Michigan Panthers. So not a surprise to me. DC, I mean, when you look at some of the wide receivers this team has brought in, and Jordan Tiamo has played relatively mistake-free football. And again, we talk about continuity, but the importance of continuity in a spring league, like Jordan Tiamo has been there 3 or 4 years as the DC Defenders quarterback. He's got some real weapons. And so I actually like DC to win this game. They're getting 3.5. I think they're going to win the game right. Bryce Perkins has been as good of a player as there is. But again, when you talk about, it's going to come down to who makes the fewest mistakes. And Perkins tend to have a turnover 1 per game. So I think that's what it's going to come down to. It could come down to the last possession, but I like DC in a close one.
There's been some movement. So I'm seeing right now the Michigan Panthers -3, over under 50. This game's in St. Louis, which I don't understand. They should just play at the home venues. Like, really, just play at the home venue. And Michigan are minus 160. I'm surprised, Rick, that you're going with DC. You like their overall collective effort. Let's not forget, too, guys, longtime NFL coach, assistant coach, DC, head coach Greg Williams was actually the defensive coordinator of the Defenders. He left, and his son took over, and they don't blitz as much, actually. I figured they would just run the exact same package. They don't, so it's a pretty cool story, actually, that Williams' kid has gotten them here right now. But I'm surprised that you're picking DC just because I know what a fan of Perkins and the Michigan Panthers that you've been.
I am, and Tua Toe is somebody that I tried to recruit up to Edmonton. We winded up signing Rankin instead. You can't complain about that. And I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan wins, but I'll tell you what, I picked DC to win it last year. They had somewhat of a down year, and my guy Von Hutchins has just been on his grind. Like, there's some really talented dudes that I expect to see in NFL training camps on this Defenders roster.
Rick Saratella kicking it with us. All right, so we've got the UFL championship game this weekend. Week 2 of the CFL is almost already here, Rick. That's the thing with the CFL, as you learn, man. There's not a lot of rest, right? Like BC Lions played Saturday night. Good for you. You're playing Thursday night on the road against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, but I don't know how many of the games you got an opportunity to see, how much of the CFL action you were able to see this week. I know that 2 of the games were on the CBS Sports Network. And just for the record, everybody out there, if you want to watch the CFL, you can watch any game for free. Just go to their website. It's CFL Plus. All you have to do is give them your email. Like, it's, sign up, basically. You register, you sign in, you log into the website, and you're able to watch every CFL game on CFL Plus for free around the world, like anywhere in the world. So just want to throw that out there. But what were your takeaways from week 1 of the CFL, Rick?
Yeah, I got a chance to see every game, Gabe. Loved watching your highlights from the BC, the Snoop concert, and they came alive there in the second half. Nathan Rourke looked really sharp. In fact, I think BC is the best bet this week playing those Winnipeg Blue Bombers with the game under their belt. I think they catch Winnipeg in Winnipeg as the Blue Bombers were on that first week bye. Ottawa, shout out to my guy, Geno Lewis. He had his 400th career reception. He goes for a CFL record this week, trying to have a 10th straight game with a touchdown reception. And that's what he does. He's just like Karl Malone in the post when it comes down to the red zone. Geno Lewis will post you up. And then Calgary, you talked about it. You liked the over. PJ Walker had a rushing touchdown coming in the short yardage situation. Vernon Adams, 284 yards passing through the year. 2 interceptions. I expect them to cut down on the turnovers as the season wears on. But this Calgary team, Tevin Jones, a sneaky signing, man. I like what they're about.
I tell you what, I think the Stampeders are actually live this week again on the road. I don't think people are going to buy into them. So, as Rick mentioned, the BC Lions are on the road Thursday night against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Somewhat surprised me to see the Bombers as home underdogs in their home opener. BC are minus 2.5. I think it comes into play that Zach Collaros is suspended for this football game, so Chris Streveler will be the quarterback. But I'm still surprised that BC are favored. But like Rick said, BC do have a game under their belts right now, and it was frustrating in the first half, their offense a little bit, but we need, and you know this, Rick, being around the CFL, it's hard to forget. It's easy to forget as a fan sometimes you're there that the starters didn't play in the preseason, right? It's going to take them a couple of games even. And you saw the progression from the first half to the second half with BC's offense. By the fourth quarter, they were rolling. It was like first down central, like dropping back, just throwing. They started to get into a groove. So BC are 2.5-point road favorites, total 49.5. Big one on the East Coast, Rick, this week with the Montreal Alouettes, who look really good. I know you're high on the Alouettes. You think they're going to win the championship this year. Man, their defense was fierce and nasty against Toronto. Now they go to Ottawa. Ottawa, Rick, 1-point home favorites in this game. What do you think about that one on Friday night?
Yeah, this game, I think it's going to be much closer than people think because I like this Ottawa team. I think they're going to be able to put points on the board, and this should be a good contest for them because I think based on what I've seen, and I wrote about this in the All Access Football Report coming out Wednesday with my CFL notebook, based on what I saw on week 1, Montreal looks like they have the best defense in the league. So this will be a great contest. I'm going to go with the experience here of Montreal. I just think they have too much firepower. I think their defense will be swarming once again, and I think it'll be a low-scoring under. I like Montreal to take this one.
Total is 49.5. That's on Friday night. Saturday, we have a doubleheader, 4 o'clock Eastern. The Calgary Stampeders, coming off their win, go to Toronto. It should be noted, Toronto really don't have much of a home field advantage. And it's a new Calgary Stampeder team. And I'll tell you what, Vernon Adams has played really well on the East Coast before. So the Stampeders are getting 3 points. Total is 50.5. I'll tell you guys, it's hard to want to bet an under in a Calgary Stampeder game. And, you know the Argo offense. They had a couple of drop passes. They should have put more points up on the board against Montreal. I expect this game to be a track meet, Rick. The total is 50.5. I think there's going to be points on the board here.
Yeah, there could be a lot of points on the board. I don't think we've got a definitive answer in regards to Chad Kelly's status here. And for that reason, I think Toronto might get caught on the upset alert. So I'm going to put the Argos on upset alert. Give me the Stampeders.
Love it. Love it. Love where you're going with this. All right, we got about a minute, Rick. Rough Riders, Saskatchewan, 3.5-point favorites on the road against Hamilton, 50.5. This is another game. There's going to be points put up on the board in this game. I'm not a big Hamilton backer. I kind of fade them more than bet them, but I like them plus the 3.5 here. If they lose, they'll lose a heartbreaker. They'll lose a close one.
Yeah, the Hamilton Tiger Cats, they're going through an emotional time. I spoke to Ted Gavay, their GM, who had to step away from the team for personal reasons as he fights a personal issue. And I just feel like they're a really roller coaster ride team right now, and they got off to a slow start. I don't know if they're going to be able to overcome this emotional roller coaster in week 2. So I think it's going to take...
Rick. We'll hit this more on the other side.
Falcons are actually relieved that he's kind of not there to create more of a distraction. Look, I mean, I said it the day it happened. It was one of the stupider decisions I've ever seen by a professional NFL franchise to sign a quarterback to a $180 million contract and then draft his replacement exactly 5 weeks later. This was a terrible organizational decision by the Falcons. Now, they're going to spin this, and this is what's annoying about the Falcons and their PR staff. They're going to spin this as if this is the plan we had all along. This is the plan that when, Kirk Cousins either got hurt or didn't play well or got too old, we were going to have Penix come in. And guess what? The new plan is now we're going to keep Kirk Cousins as a backup. So if Michael Penix gets hurt, we told you so. We were right for keeping him on the roster. We were smart for keeping him here. No, this whole thing has been an abject disaster.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do, but the Knicks are at a point now where they don't have to blow it up. They may still do so, and they have a right to do so, but with trading the 4 first-round picks and the pick swap for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks don't have a lot of room in regards to actual picks to throw at people.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Get it with Rick Saratella, allaccessfootball.com. So, Rick, you were talking about the emotional state of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And they've got a diehard fan base. They've been struggling for a couple of years right now. They've got stuff going that they got to deal with off the field as well. But they were pretty high coming in this year. They felt, we could put some points up on the board. Last year, they had a very inexperienced defense. And we saw they gave up some points, but hey, listen, Saskatchewan are good, but they're not unbeatable. Like I said, I'm going to take the Hamilton Tiger Cats here and try to gut out an emotional home victory, and I'll also be on the over 50.5.
Yeah, it seems like every time I pick against Corey Mace, he comes out with the victory. I'm tired of betting against him. I think maybe he's the best head coach. He's a hot, young, up-and-comer guy. And I'll tell you what, the one thing about BC is they imported a lot of guys. Like, they brought 10 guys over from Winnipeg. They had a lot of free agent acquisitions. I think it's going to take them a few weeks to kind of gel here.
Rick Saratella kicking it with us. Rick, college football. The season is rapidly approaching right now, which is pretty cool. The cycle of life of the football world continues. And a team, and I know that you're already looking at next year's draft and you're putting things together and you're looking at players, and a team that I tell you what, that I think literally could have like 4 first-round draft picks next year. I don't know if you can tell me whether I'm crazy or not. The Clemson Tigers. And let's remember, guys, the Clemson Tigers were an NFL factory for years. They were winning championships. They were going to championships. They were on Alabama's level. They were sending players to the National Football League. The talent dropped off a little bit. Dabo was stubborn about the transfer portal. I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do it my way. Yet his way isn't a bad way, guys. And he got criticized a lot. And I always thought it was crazy, Rick. Like, people thought, Clemson are done. They never adapted to the modern world. I'm like, they've won 10 games in a row for like 7 years in a row, etc. They go 9-3 and people bury Dabo and stuff. But I tell you what, Dabo's back. And I want to ask you, because from their quarterback and Clay Kubnik, who I'm a big fan of, to Peter Woods, who might be the best defensive player in college football, to their DBs, to their D linemen, like, they literally are stacked with first-round NFL talent, aren't they?
Yeah, you got to give Dabo credit for being able to recruit, re-recruit, keep those guys in-house, and then develop, right? Because he's basically going in with a homegrown roster. And what I mean is, all these guys on the roster, he recruited, except for one. Like, they had one guy come in through the transfer portal, because all these other guys, Dabo handpicked them, and he seeked out guys that want to develop, that want to go pro, that understand the vision. And, I think there's a little religious thing that goes on with some of his recruitment too, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But he's got it to a point now where he's kept all these guys in-house for the last 3 or 4 years. And you're right. He did fall by the wayside because he refused to adapt to the NIL, but he stuck to his guns. And now this is the year it's going to pay dividends. And this is the year I think Clemson, not only are they a college football playoff contender, I think they're going to be a top 4 seed.
I agree with you. I think Clemson make the playoffs and win a couple of games. Like, I think they're in this thing. Hey, listen, They gave Texas all they could handle. They just couldn't keep up in the long run last year, and that game was on the road as well. But looking at their talent here, Rick, from T.J. Parker, great edge rusher, Avion Terrell, their cornerback. Like, we're talking about premier college football players, and not to mention their quarterback. The one thing that they've been missing for the past couple of years that they used to always have good position players, wide receiver, right? They used to always have a star wide receiver. They haven't had a star wide receiver in a while.
Yeah, and that's going to change. I think Antonio Williams, if I'm not mistaken, is the name. But they do have a wide receiver very high on our big board, a potential first-round pick. You mentioned the corner with the NFL bloodlines. His brother just came out a few years ago. They've got probably, you mentioned Parker, probably the top edge rusher in the draft at this juncture. And then they also have a defensive tackle that's in the first-round equation too. Peter Woods, I believe. So you talk about Clay Klubnik, who I thought played as good as any quarterback down the stretch in the second half of the season as anyone in the nation. And it took a while. We've talked about it on this show. Like, I think during the season last year, like, he finally has lived up to that 5-star billing. Like, he's played up to that potential that we didn't see the first 2 or 3 years.
And Klubnik, guys, was a 5-star recruit. Won the Texas State Championship. Actually beat the quarterback at Texas. What's the quarterback? Quinn Ewers. I was going to say Colt McCoy for some reason, but they're all these Texas names, eh? Quinn, Colt, Quinn Ewers. Beat Quinn Ewers in the state championship game. He lost when they played in the playoffs last year, but you talked about, I was reading an interview with him about Klubnik and just about his development. He's working with Jordan Palmer, the quarterback coach guru, step by step. And each year they sort of study a quarterback. Last year it was Mahomes and Bailey Zappi of all people, but Bailey Zappi in college. Now they're looking at Joe Burrow from the LSU season, etc. There's a real method to the madness. His footwork, arm work, etc. Like they're checking all the boxes with Clay. Like he's being taught. He's going to be ready for the NFL Combine, and he's going to be one of these guys that NFL coaches and GMs like when they talk to him because he is a football junkie, Rick.
Yeah, listen, it's not far-fetched to think that he could catapult into the first round, right? Because Arch Manning could stay in school. Lenore Sellers could stay in school. Who's to say that Carson Beck or Nico is really the top quarterback? So, why can't Klubnik become that guy? I mean, with another kind of caliber type of season, he could be in the Heisman equation very well, right? So, why can't he?
I'm going to be betting Clemson minus 140 to make the college football playoffs. It's a nice bet.
Oh,
the Michigan Wolverines are plus 200 for the record. And I would be disappointed if Michigan don't make it back, but I think Clemson are obviously the bigger lock. I mean, Clemson play in the ACC. So, yeah, Clemson are going to win. Rick, we got to get out of here, my man, but it's always good. Where can people find you online? What do you got going on?
Yeah, allaccessfootball.com. I've got the power rankings coming out tomorrow. I went down to Delaware State and interviewed Deshaun Jackson, Clinton Portis, and his whole crew with the HBCU. Check it out.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Man, there's all these NFL former players that I never in a million years thought would be coaches of the coaches now. Him, Michael.
Falcons are actually relieved that he's kind of not there to create more of a distraction. Look, I mean, I said it the day it happened. It was one of the stupider decisions I've ever seen by a professional NFL franchise to sign a quarterback to a $180 million contract and then draft his replacement exactly 5 weeks later. This was a terrible organizational decision by the Falcons. Now, they're going to spin this, and this is what's annoying about the Falcons and their PR staff. They're going to spin this as if this is the plan we had all along. This is the plan that when, Kirk Cousins either got hurt or didn't play well or got too old, we were going to have Penix come in. And guess what? The new plan is now we're going to keep Kirk Cousins as a backup. So if Michael Penix gets hurt, we told you so. We were right for keeping him on the roster. We were smart for keeping him here. No, this whole thing has been an abject disaster.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do, but the Knicks are at a point now where they don't have to blow it up. They may still do so, and they have a right to do so, but with trading the 4 first-round picks and the pick swap for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks don't have a lot of room in regards to actual picks to throw at people.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Great stuff with Rick Saratella, as always. Shout out to Mr. Football, Rick Saratella. We'll have more CFL talk tomorrow night, but I'm starting to round into form as far as what I like this week in the CFL. We'll break it down tomorrow night with Cameron, a.k.a. Babano. Just quickly, as far as the Clemson Tigers are concerned, I see they open up with LSU, which isn't easy. I don't know why Clemson do these tough games to open up the season all the time. Say what you will about LSU as well, but they're not shy about playing someone tough in their season opener. So it's LSU Clemson on August 30th. Other than that, it's very manageable. Troy at Clemson, Clemson, Georgia Tech, Syracuse at Clemson, Clemson at North Carolina, Clemson at Boston College, SMU at Clemson, Duke. And SMU are pretty good, actually, but Duke at Clemson, Florida State at Clemson, Clemson at Louisville, Furman at Clemson, Clemson at South Carolina. So the back end is kind of tricky here, but I do like this Clemson team a lot. Just for the record, they're 14-1 to win a national championship. They're minus 140 to make the playoffs, and they're plus 125 to win the ACC. But they're stacked with a ton of talent this year, the Clemson Tigers. Going to be a very dangerous football team, but so are LSU, so that's going to be a great game on August the 30th. So tomorrow night, the NBA Finals, Cam. We spoke with McKinnis about the finals earlier. I do believe that the Pacers are going to get a split here, and you're on the plus 2.5 games. I'm on the plus 2.5, so we need one more win. I think we're going to get it, but the plus 180 is pretty attractive here. And we go back to the well. Hopefully they win the first game at plus 180 tomorrow night. Then the bet is already won, and we hit the 180 tomorrow as well. But I threw it out there. I think they'll be tied after 4 games. I think Indy's going to find a way to split these 2 games at home, and that pays plus 105 series correct score after 4 games. What's your pick for tomorrow night?
I love it, Gabe. And another thing, I'm going to take them both on the money line on my FanDuel account. They're plus 184. So if they don't get it done in game 3, I'm going to go back to them. But I also like Pascal Siakam. I know he always hovers around 19.5, but our former Raptor friend, I think at home, he's going to have to be huge for Indiana in this game. And I think he gets into the mid-20s, maybe even a little bit deeper. So already bet that over 19.5. I'm taking the points, and I'm taking the Pacers on the money line. If they lose this game, I'm coming right back to them.
I'll be taking the over as well at 228.5. We talked about the tempo earlier. I think it's better for the Pacers. They're going to want to push the tempo. Look, game 1, guys, nearly got there. And there was a really slow start to the game. Both teams, NBA Finals, it was a slow first quarter, it was a slow first half, and they still ended up getting to 221. They got to 230 in game 2. I think this theme will continue, actually. I think there'll be points. The Pacers are going to be more comfortable at home. I'll post some player props for the game tomorrow. As far as Major League Baseball is concerned right now, I'm in a little bit of trouble. The D-backs blew the game open, 9-2 over Seattle. Now I know why Seattle were plus 150. 9-2. We lose the total already, too. I had under 9.5, Cam. Dodgers getting lit up, 9-0 right now. Athletics and Angels, they're tied at 1 in the top of the 9th. So you could jump in on that game if you want to play Russian roulette. The Angels are minus 130 right now.
I think you gave the listeners and the viewership some good advice. So oh my God. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
The San Francisco Giants came back and beat Colorado.
Dude, they were plus 280 at one point late, too. I didn't get in on it. Like, I should have taken it when they were plus 150. They were plus 280. They ended up winning the game.
They scored
4 runs. Yeah, they scored 4 runs.
10-1, I think, because they were down. They were down 3 runs heading into the 9th, and San Francisco put up a 4 spot to win 6-5. So classic Rockies collapse in the 9th.
Wow.
What a loss!
That would have really made up for the other baseball losses, hitting that on the way out.
I can't believe it, man. That team, they just find new ways to lose. Nice lead, man. You called it though. You said they were going to come back and win the game. Just didn't think it would take that long. 4 runs in the 9th, unreal.
It's just sort of mathematical probability, right? They're in a tie game, close game. Yeah, you're right. They probably were like plus 700 or something. I don't know. It is Colorado, so it doesn't get too crazy. But last I saw was plus 280, and they were only down by like 1 at the time, too, I think, or 2 runs at the time. I think it was 1 run. It was later in the baseball game, but they hung a 4 spot up. And, somebody was smart enough to fade Colorado out there, Cam. It just wasn't us to catch that ticket on the way out.
No, it was definitely not us. But let's win in basketball tomorrow. A lot of early baseball as well tomorrow. Crazy games, early starts, Gabe. We got Pittsburgh and Miami, Chicago, Philly.
Ton of golf picks tomorrow night. Brady Cannatan still will be in the house with the U.S. Open picks. We'll have a ton of CFL picks as well. And we'll hit the Stanley Cup, NBA in-game. Other than that, you're on your own, baby.